Y'all, at a part in the video, you're going to hear me talking about how hard it is to shadow the CO that I shadow during the daytime as a cadet while the neuromonitoring is happening. The targeting makes everything more difficult. Work, home life, shoot, even when you're in bed and you're bed at home, it's difficult. But anyways, you're going to hear me talking about, I don't know why the people running the technology and running the program won't at least have mercy on the CO that's forced to train me for the day and at least make it so that they can't hear my thoughts. And so I accidentally say, why won't they turn off the cameras? And that's not what I meant. I wish they would do that too. But I meant turn off the technology or the signal to that person's brain, because it's brain-to-brain computer interface. This is some high science technology, y'all. Like I said, links to the info about this technology is in the description box and comment section. But that's solely the neuromonitoring, the targeting, the being watched on camera, not the prison cameras. I'm talking about these low insect drones. That is what makes work torturous for a target during the daytime. That's what makes it difficult, especially if you're in a role like mine at the moment where I'm a cadet and I have to shadow underneath someone. And I could tell when my thoughts are really getting to the person, like hours on end. They're forced to hear my thoughts pushing into their brain. It's just like it puts a burden on me because I actually do care about other people's feelings, despite them pretending like I don't, or making it seem like I don't, like I'm this selfish bitch. I'm not. And so it just makes me feel even more stressed. I'm already feeling the angst of just, the thoughts pushing in and not feeling like I can control it. But then I'm also feeling like I'm burdening the person I'm underneath. So it's hard, man. I keep saying I can't wait to get past this part. The things are going to get a little better for me because I'm supposed to be starting PT soon, if the most I spares my life. So I'll be able to leave work a little bit earlier. So it won't be as many hours of me sitting up underneath somebody and them, kind of being forced to hear my thoughts pushing into their brain intrusively. Then I could tell it really be taking a toll on the person sometimes, Anyway, so I just want to correct that, though. I meant to say I don't know why they won't turn the tech off, or the signal at least, to that person that I'm sitting underneath. I didn't mean to say the camera. And then shortly after that, you're going to hear me talking about this cold that I have and how the oregano oil caused some sort of detox reaction that created this cold. And as I'm describing what happened, you're going to hear me saying that I put the cayenne pepper under my tongue and then threw the cayenne pepper in the back of my throat. No, it was a mix of things. I meant to say I put the oregano oil under my tongue, and then I took some cayenne pepper in my hand and threw it into my mouth and swallowed it together, and it burned like crazy. Both of those things are very hot and spicy, and they both kind of play a similar role. They do the same thing. They're good for the cardiovascular system. They're good for blood flow. They're good for opening up the blood vessels, etc. But it's like really extreme detox type stuff, and I took too much of it. And I went to sleep and I woke up and I was sick. So anyway, I just wanted to correct that. Intro in the next clip, and you're going to hear the video in the next upcoming clips. This is just like not a disclaimer, but like a prelude to the video, just a couple corrections. Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Sharifa, and my poetry name is New Lily. If you're new to the channel, please check out the links located in the description box and comment section. And in both locations, you'll find an identical set of links that lead to videos that talk about what started my targeting in 2020, as well as links that lead to videos that share information about the targeted individual program, information about the technology used on targets, information about the tactics used on targets, and just information in general about the program, y'all. So, anyways, y'all, this is not going to be a long video. In this video, I'm just giving an update on something that happened in the gym yesterday. Another gym video, y'all. I know it's been a lot. Like, I'm pumping these videos out like crazy, but understand that I'm a consistent gym goer. And recently, within the last, I want to say 3 to 4, actually probably 4 months, within the last 4 months, 4 to 5 months. Time is flying, guys. It's been about 5 months since the activity has taken a weird turn. It's been about 5 months. For the last 5 months, things have gotten pretty gnarly in the gym, right? I've been going to the gym since November of 2023, right? It was like not November, January, February, March, April. It was like, nah, not November, because December was when I put up that update. I started working out again in November of 2023. And for, a good few months, I was in, not even November, like August or October of 2023. Around that time, I started working out in the house. And for a few months, I was doing at-home workouts until I built my body up enough to get back in the gym. And so then January of 2024 of last year was when I started going to the gym. So anyways, when I got into the gym, it was not a bad vibe. But y'all know the story. I'm not about to rehash, and I've talked about it in prior videos, y'all. I was getting minimal gangstalking in the gym throughout the course of the year. And those times when I did get gangstalking, I documented it. But it wasn't anything as bad as what happened about 5 months ago when I started going to the gym in the morning time. Things took a turn for the worse. I explained what happened with the Italian guy and the guy that I said was my type and blah, blah, blah. The whole saga. If you keep up with my videos, y'all will know what's going on. You have to keep up with my videos. There's this tick happening, y'all, because of something that happened a little while ago. Something I saw outside my window. It's psychological. It's always something, y'all. It's always something ticking in my brain. And it's just like, it's so frustrating. It's like I have no control in my brain. Like once it starts, a tick starts, it's like I have no control. It's just, I cannot stop it. It's ridiculous. It's just so humiliating and frustrating. And it's always something. Anyway, I need to get a jammer. That's what I need to do. Anyways, y'all. So it's just a continuation of what's been happening, the ongoing, I want to say, situation in the gym. It's not that bad, really. It wasn't too bad yesterday, the gangstalking, actually, but it was still like, I wanted to fund myself because I know what caused what happened yesterday. And so that's why I want to talk about it, because they were just ready, boy. They were ready for me. They could not wait. And I was not even that mad. This was crazy to me. And it's one of those situations where, it looks like something kind of similar to my targeting, actually. I keep ending up in these type of situations, but where it looks like something and it's not what it looks like. Like, it literally wasn't him. And it's one of those things where you're just like, damn, this is one of those things where I just be like, okay, whatever, and let them go with it. The other thing, I had to fight that tooth and nail. But this is one of those things where I'm just like, okay, whatever, let them go with it. Because it's like, I can't really explain it. I know what the picture looked like, and it wasn't what it was, but let them go with it, whatever. So anyways, excuse me. So yesterday at work, y'all, it was a very long, arduous day. It was a very long and arduous day at work yesterday. But all of my days at work are long and arduous because it's a 9-hour shift. So it's an hour longer than a regular shift. A regular shift is 8 hours. Mind you, this is not even the regular hours for a corrections officer. I'm working the hours of a cadet. As a corrections officer, you have to work 12 hours. It's mandatory. It's from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. But I won't mind that as much because at least I'll be in my role and I won't be sitting up underneath somebody. The issue is that I'm having to sit up underneath an officer and I'm targeted. I'm being watched and surveilled. It's not just like the regular jail cameras. It's like the cameras that are on me. I'm even aware of the fact that the CO I'm sitting with is watching, like watching me on their phone, whatever. My thoughts are being projected, right? And so I've already explained this before. It's like this psychological thing where people are hearing your thoughts. You're constantly being programmed. They're constantly sending sensitization to you whenever you are using technology. So when I'm not at work. So things just want to pop in your head. Sometimes humiliating things that you don't even want to pop into your head just starts popping into your head and you just have no control. Another thing that happens is whenever I'm sitting up underneath a CO, their name throughout the day sometimes will tick in my head. It's happened with several COs. Some of them are pleasant about it. They act like they don't hear it. And some will start making noises when it starts happening. Like that dude that was being obnoxious that I talked about in the last video that I posted that was saying all that directed convo. His name, you know how annoying it is when somebody's roasting you and their name is popping in your head? Like that's the last shit you want popping in your head. And it's popping in your head. And his name kept popping in my head. And every time his name would pop in my head, he kept like making noises and going more ham. And I'm just like, God, please stop. And I couldn't stop the thing, man. It was just like, I could not stop it. But it happens with all the COs that I sit under, throughout the day. And it just depends on who I'm with. Sometimes it happens more with one than the other. It just depends on how anxious I'm feeling in the moment or whatever's going on. So it's just humiliating, man. It's a lot of stuff just pops in your head. And the COs having to sit there and endure the constant barrage of your thoughts intrusively, sounding off in their head. I don't know exactly what it sounds like. Obviously I know that the technology exists. And if you check out the links in the description box in the comment section, you'll see the evidence of such technology. They have patents for the technology. They have diagrams for the technology, etc. So it exists, and the people around me aren't really trying to, they're not going to ever validate that it's happening. That's not how the program works. But some targets get it so bad that they're literally being gaslit into thinking they're schizophrenic. My targeting's a little different. It's obvious what's going on with me. It's gone viral. So they don't hide the fact that what's happening is really happening. But it's still not something that they're going to overtly acknowledge, if that makes sense. So anyways, I lost my train of thought. That's crazy. All right, I'll be right back, y'all. Yeah, y'all. So they're not gonna ever acknowledge it openly that that's what's going on, but it's obvious that that's what's going on. So anyways, it's just exhausting at work dealing with this. I've been saying that in the recent videos, y'all, dealing with this part of the job, the cadet portion of it as a target. They even realize though that having the cadet sit underneath the officer for 9 hours straight is just unreasonable, because from what I understand, all the other cadets were just sitting there half day, and then the other half of the day they were doing PT. So they would sit there until lunchtime, and then for the rest of the day they would go and do PT. Not for the rest of the day, but like a few hours to go do PT, like after lunch. So lunch is at 12, go do PT, and then they go home, and they were going home like around 3 or 4 o'clock. Me, I was sitting there all day long from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. This is what I've been doing, sitting underneath somebody all day. That's exhausting, especially once you finally kind of learn the job and stuff. It's there's not much more to learn. Now you're just, I guess, practicing being an officer, but you're really just kind of shadowing and sitting up underneath somebody. It's just not as a target. It just really sucks as a target. If I weren't targeted, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind it as much. I'd be like, okay, I can't wait to get past this part. Can't wait to get in the role and do my own thing. But it wouldn't be like, how it feels when you're targeted, where it's just like, oh my God, this is torture. They can hear my thoughts and, making noises and fighting to stop stuff from popping in my head, and the fear of something popping in, and, you hear the person breathing heavy next to you, they're getting irritated with the thoughts popping in their head. The people running it won't have mercy and at least shut the camera off from the person. I don't know how they run this thing, how it works. At least make it so that the CO I'm sitting underneath for 9 hours straight isn't being tortured with my thoughts. Come on. I just don't understand it, man. I don't understand it. So it's just been rough. It's been real rough. I don't know. I think they probably had a talk with all the COs and said, hey, y'all got to take turns, and this is a part of her punishment or whatever. I don't know what it is, man. But it's it's rough. But anyways, sorry, y'all, have this nasty cough I'm getting over from when I was sick. It's not in my chest, it's in my throat. It's the weirdest thing ever. I haven't had a cough like this in a long time. And it seems to be resistant to the oregano oil. Actually, I think the oregano oil is what caused it. I think it was like a detox cold that I gave myself, because I woke up one day and my heart was racing. I think I suspect it was the technology. I'm not sure, but I suspect. Excuse me, but I ran and I pulled the oregano oil out my bag, and I ran to the kitchen to make some tea with cayenne pepper, because I've talked about this in prior videos, y'all. But if you're having an issue with your heart, cayenne pepper is good because it opens up the blood vessels, and the oregano oil is good because it does the same thing. It helps with blood flow, it helps with the cardiovascular system, it helps with the lungs, and it helps open up the blood vessels and opens up the air passages. So I realized we were out of water and my heart's still racing like that. And so I just, almost in a panic, and I don't typically panic in these moments anymore because I'm used to dealing with anxiety. Even if the heart speeding is from technology, it emulates what it feels like when you're having an anxiety attack. Same feeling. But I started panicking, man. And so I took the cayenne pepper and I poured a bunch of it in my hand. And I threw it down my throat. And I put the cayenne pepper under my tongue and I swallowed it like that. And my throat was on fire and my mouth was on fire. And I just laid down and I went to sleep. And when I woke up, my throat was sore. And my nose was running and I was sick. I had a cold. And so I think I had some sort of detox reaction. I got a detox cold. But then about a week or two later, it was gone. It left rather quickly, but then it turned into like this dry cough in my throat. It's not even in my lungs or my chest area, it's in my throat. So to the point where I left work the other day and to check to see if I had COVID. Anyway, even though I knew it was likely from that same detox cold that I had gotten. Anyway, y'all, not mean to go off on a tangent, so excuse the coughing. Anyway, so where was I? I was talking about what's going on at work. I'm not trying to talk about what's going on at work. I'm not trying to make any more videos about work, y'all. Long story short, I've said everything I wanted to say, and really it's just been me defending myself, a lot of these videos. But I don't want to keep doing this, man. I want to keep making videos about work. I'm targeted. Things are going to happen in and out of work. It's been happening. I need to work on getting out of this program. That's really the long and short of it. Until then, I'm going to be miserable. Whether I'm at work, home, gym, roof, floor, it's going to be the same thing. So, but it's just hard, just speaking of sitting up underneath the officers, not trying to stay on work, but I'm just trying to explain what led to the doodle that I drew. So I'm not even supposed to be drawing and stuff, they're very strict with me, I gotta be like, sitting up and not drawing or doing anything like that, in those moments where it's kind of like downtime, I don't really know what to do with myself. So sometimes I pull out the pen, and even though I'm not pulling out my like crayons and color pencils and coloring and stuff, I'll pull out my pen and I might start drawing a little bit. What happened was when they put me up there, because they put me up in this area that they know I don't like, but they stuck me up there and that's like my least favorite place to be stationed, in the gym, in the facility. Because, I've already learned it. I know everything to know that there is to know. The girl up there even said, yeah, I already taught you everything. And it's to the point where even the front office, they've put me in a front office before too, to run it by myself, and I was doing a fairly well job at it. I actually wish it would do that more often. I wish it would just make me run the front office at this point, like just until it's time for me to go to police academy. Just let me run the front office. I won't mind doing that. That would be fun for me, and that would keep me busy all day. I want my own independent role is really what it is, and I'm not trying to be this person that can't work on a team or be a team player, because it doesn't matter how good you are at a job. If you can't work with other people, then you're useless. You're not a good employee, and I understand that. But my circumstances are different. I'm targeted. I feel ostracized at times. I'm antisocial, right? So not antisocial, that's the wrong word. I mean, at this point, now that I'm targeted, I'm antisocial. But I'm awkward, socially awkward. But it's never been to the point where I was antisocial. But take the social awkwardness that I've always had and mix it with targeting, and it creates anti-socialism, if that makes sense. So it's like I'd rather just get in my own role. And so this just like, I'm miserable doing this cadet. I'm being a cadet and having to sit under people, and then just not knowing if the person, has feelings towards me, and then they're being forced to hear my thoughts, and it's just rough. Anyway, so that was what was happening though. When I first got in there, because they keep sticking me up there. I think they know I don't like it. And so sometimes, it seems like they still want to put me up there. I was put up there, and I, asked her, I said, to the girl, I said, what, do you think there's something I haven't learned up here? Do you think that's the reason why I keep getting stuck up here? Not stuck up here, but put up here. I said, do you think that there's something that I haven't learned up here that you need to teach me, or have we gone over everything? She said, yeah, no, up here's easy. She said, I've already taught you everything. Da, da, da. And the computer was down at the time too when I had first got up there. So there wasn't really much she could do, really, other than just answer the phone, and document in the book. So then she said, I got this. All I have to do is really answer the phones. I said, so is there anything as a cadet I could do that would make me be more productive up here? Is there something I can do that would make me, satisfy whatever it is that the supervisor is looking for? Do you feel like there's anything I haven't learned? She said, no, there's nothing to do at the moment. And she said, you've learned everything pretty much, so there's nothing really to do. So I was just sitting there staring at the wall. Like, I didn't know what to do. So I eventually pulled out my book and I started drawing, is what I eventually started doing. And so as I was drawing, I was just doodling random stuff. I started drawing. I always do this. I always draw men. Obviously, this is to tell you that I'm straight. Like, I would be drawing females if I were really whatever. But I'm not going to go to the details with that. But I've always, since high school, drawn men, right? And it's just been this thing. I don't know why. I just like to do that, doodle men. And it's not just men. I draw all kinds of stuff. But all the time, often when I'm doodling, especially with my pen, I draw men. And typically when I draw the men, they usually have the same features. It's usually like this, like straight nose, usually full lips. I'll draw a goatee of some sort, sometimes a full beard. And I will typically either draw them with cut hair or they'll have hair on their head. It'll either be dreadlocks or long curly hair. It never deviates. I draw the same doodle every time. The face is usually the same exact face, and the only thing that differs is the hair. It'll either be long curly hair, dreadlocks, or cut hair. It never fails. I have been doing this since high school. So I was drawing and I had done a few doodles before I drew the one that looked like the guy from the gym. I did one with cut hair. Then I did one with long curly hair. As a matter of fact, no, the one for him was not with the long curly hair. It was I did the dreadlocks first, and then I put curly hair over it when I realized what it looked like. And I even have a doodle from last week, y'all, that I did where I made the long curly hair instead of dreadlocks. It was just this time I decided to make dreadlocks. So I was doodling, trying to just pass the time or whatever. And sorry, y'all. After I drawn a few guys, I drew this one with the dreadlocks. I said, let me do dreadlocks this time. So I started drawing the dreadlocks. I drew the guy to have muscles, which I always do because that's what I like. So that's what I draw. I always do that. And I don't need muscles. Like I said, y'all, I'm not a vain person. I've dated guys that were not muscular. But typically when I'm drawing, that's what I draw. That's just the honest truth. So anyways, I was drawing the muscles or whatever, and I drew like a chain on the person. And again, something I always do every time they see me do this. They have been watching me do the same doodle. The only thing that differs is the hair. And sometimes it will have glasses, sometimes it won't have glasses. That's the only difference. It's the same face every time. The only thing that will change is the hair and the glasses. I just last week drew one with glasses that had long curly hair. I could dig in my bag and pull it out. It looked exactly like the picture I drew, except instead of dreadlocks, it had long curly hair. If you take away the dreadlocks, you'll realize the face didn't even look like his face. It actually looked more like somebody that's Hispanic, if you really look at it good. That's typically the features I draw, and it's not intentional. It's just something I've been doing since high school. I don't know why. That's just a drawing that I always draw. So anyways, it's not like this specific thing where like, oh, it's Spanish men either. It's not really that either. I do like Spanish men, but it's not that either. It's just that's typically the features I draw. It'll be like full lips and then like this kind of straight nose. That's just what I do. So it didn't really even look exactly like him, but it was his aesthetic because it had the glasses, it had the dreadlocks, he has a goatee, and it was muscular, right? So I could see why they would think so. And I wasn't that mad. I always draw the same doodle. It was only that it had the locks this time. So anyways, after I'm drawing it, and they saw I was having a bastard ass day. I've already explained why I don't feel comfortable up there, right? I don't feel like going through the explanation again right now. It has nothing to do with the CEO that's up there and everything to do with the location. It has nothing to do with her, right? Because then when we were in the front office, it wasn't as bad, right? It's the location. But anyways, so I was sitting there just drawing ambassador and fidgety because I can feel myself being stared at. It's this weird thing where you're sitting in the room with somebody, they're staring at you on their phone. There's no normalizing that. And it's not just them. Then, everyone around is staring at you too. You're going to fidget. It happens. And so I was sitting there fidgety. And it's not even really nerves that like what it would seem. It's not like I'm nervous. I'm not sitting there nervous as much as I am just feeling uncomfortable and awkward. I keep trying to explain the feeling. Like how when you go out in public and someone stares at you and you feel awkward and it almost feels like, even though it's something that's intangible, you can feel their eyes on you. Like that's what it feels like. And all these people are staring at you. It's just, I can't explain. It's just a horrible feeling. Anyway, so I was sitting there fidgeting and not knowing what to do with myself and trying to draw. And, sorry, I heard a noise outside, y'all. My brother's friend is outside. But I don't think that's where the noise came from. Anyway, so that's what it is all day long, y'all. Even when I'm in bed at home and the neighbors are in the neighborhood watching me, staring at me, it's the same feeling. Like I'd be fidgeting and twitching. The weirdest thing, before I left Island, y'all, and before my targeting went viral, even when I was aware of the fact that cameras were on me and people were watching me, I didn't have the twitching issue. The twitching thing didn't start until Florida. I keep saying this. When I tried to relocate off Island, and then I stayed in my car for about a month in Florida, and I was dealing with the extreme gangstalking I was dealing with in Florida and the trauma and the PTSD that came along with it. That was when the twitching thing started. It started in Florida and it carried back here when I came back home. And it's been the same ever since. I've been having the twitches. So anyways, it's horrible, man. Sometimes I'll be standing there, waiting for something and my body starts twitching. I have to kind of bend over and crunch down and try to stop it. Like it's horrible. It's nerves and PTSD. Anyway, so I was there doodling, nonetheless, trying to just get through the moment. It was a very long day, man. Trying to get through the moment though and just doodling, and I ended up drawing the same doodle I always draw, except I had dreadlocks this time. And so I started hearing the birds going ham outside. And I'm like, why are they going ham? And I look at the picture good and I analyze. I said, I know exactly why. I said, I said, this looks like, I said, this is looking like whatever. This is looking like that dude. This is what I realized. And so I was like, oh shit. Because they done been going ham in the gym about this thing, this thing with him. They have been going ham. I got like ham. I'm making a noise outside. I actually like right away tried to color over the locks. I tried to thing up the locks and make it look like curly hair. Because it's like, oh shit. I just knew it was going to turn into some craziness if I didn't do that. If I didn't color it and try to make it look like curly hair. So anyway, I got through the day at work, right? It was rough. I got through the day, right? I moved on. I got bassy because I heard noise outside, y'all. So anyway, I got through the day at work and I got to the gym. When I got to the gym, y'all, oh my God, the dude was in there immediately. He's never there that early these days. He was in there in the area, right? And working out in the area that I would be going to work out. They know what area I go to work out in the gym. I'm like, oh my God. I knew it was because of the picture. I was like, shit, I knew it was going to happen. Before I went in there, I knew it was going to be some activity with him because of that drawing. I just knew it. And there was nothing I could do about it. I was like, it looks like what it looked like. There's nothing I could even do about this. But anyway, so I saw him in the area. I was like, oh boy. But I wasn't going to be nasty about it. I was just like, okay, I know I drew the picture. I know what it looks like. Let me just go in the back room and just, whatever. So I went to the back room and I started changing out my work clothes and stuff and get my workout stuff on. He came in the room behind me. He said, what are you saying, mama? Which is island terminology. It's just like, what's up? So I said, I'm good. I wasn't going to be a bitch about it. And he wasn't being nasty. So I'm like, okay, he sounds like his normal self. He's not being like whatever. So I was like, I'm good. And I would say he came out. I continued to get my clothes on and stuff. And I was like, well, let me stay back here. Since he's in the area, the first part of the gym where I usually do my first set of workouts, let me stay in here and do my adductors because the adductor machine is back there. And I just, I again know why it was happening. I know it was because of the drawing and I know it's not something I could really explain. And I knew my brain would be ticking too. So I was like, let me just come do this thing back here. And then if anything, I'll just move to the other side of the gym since he's on that first side. Excuse me. So that's what I did. I did my adductors and then I moved to the other side of the gym. And sorry, y'all, the cough is like, ugh. So then I went on the Smith machine and I another thing I noticed too with the CEO I was under yesterday, she was being nice and everything. She has a very nice personality. She's a very friendly person. But like many of the other people in the targeting, she's one of those people I think doesn't really care for me as a person, which is understandable. It's fine. Whatever the case is, as long as we get our job done and we're professional and we remain some level of respect for each other, then that works for me. It's fine. But I noticed she left the room, right? I was actually finding reasons to leave every minute because I realized my brain ticking was getting to her. And I actually felt bad for her because they had already put me with her the day before. So I didn't understand why they would put me with her 2 days back to back, because it's torture for her too. It's not just torture for me sitting up for 9 hours underneath the CO. Again, I repeat, it's torture for the CO and they refuse to, and when I say they, I'm not talking about my job, I'm talking about whoever's running the technology. They refuse to remedy that solution and at least turn off the thing, so that they're not turning off. They don't even have to turn it off. They should turn it off. It's not right what's being done. But until they're ready to turn it off, right? Until they're ready to, do the right thing and turn it off, the least they could do is at least make it so that the person I'm sitting under for 9 hours straight doesn't have to hear it. It's already hard working a big long shift and then you have to sit there and deal with the intrusion of someone's thoughts pushing into your brain. That's crazy. And so I didn't understand why they had put me with her for a second day. I was just like, damn, is she being punished? I know I'm being punished. Is she being punished too? Like, I was trying to figure it out. Anyway, so hold on, y'all. Give me a minute. I'm going to finish the video in a second. Yeah, y'all. I was just trying to figure out if they were punishing her. I'm like, 2 days back to back. Damn, this is intense. And then too, also another thing she told me, not to hop all over the place, but another thing she told me too was she's surprised to put me up there so often because it's not like that's going to be a common role for me. She said it's very rare that a corrections officer will be running up there. That's something that the techs do and they have like 3 techs. So even if one calls out, there's always going to be one to run up there. So it's rare that they'll have to have a CO do it, but you should still need to know how to do it just in case they need to put you there. So me going there as often as I do, she didn't understand and she was like, I more so should be by the units, where I'm gonna actually be. I'm learning that area of practicing. At this point, I've learned it already, but like practicing being in that role. Anyway, so um, but what happened was it was later in the day, and I kept finding reasons when it got later in the day, and my brain really started ticking. Oh, by the way, there's a correction I need to make too. Earlier in the video, I noticed I said they won't take Mercy and take the cameras off. I didn't mean the cameras. I wish it would take those off too. But I meant to say the microchip, or at least stop projecting. Obviously, they're not going to turn it off right now until when they decide to do the right thing or whatever. But at least stop projecting it. Excuse me, to the people that are around, that are directly in close proximity to me, the officer, the CEO. I'm sure there's some way they could block the signal from that person's head. However, they're sending out the thing to the person's head. I don't know how the thing works. I'm sure they could at least turn it off so that person isn't being tortured all day long with my thoughts. But again, like I said, I think this is maybe a conversation they had with all of them beforehand, and just, maybe some sort of agreement was made that, okay, we got to take turns. This is a part of her punishment. I really don't know. Obviously, that's what it is. Um, but anyway, back to what I was saying though. So later in the day when it started getting bad, the ticking, I started finding reasons to leave the office, like finding other business that I needed to take care of and going and taking care of it. So when I got back up there, I was dealing with something. I forgot what it was. I had found out that I was going to be starting PT. But what's happening is instead of doing it in the evening time, I'm going super early in the morning. They have two different times that they would do it. It's either super early in the morning or you go in the evening time. And so what they have available right now is super early in the morning. And the girl that I had the dream about is doing it with me. So this is going to be awkward. We'll see how this works. I don't want to start with that kind of energy, because if I say it's going to be awkward, then it's going to be awkward. It's going to be whatever I make it be. So I'm going to just go out there and work. She looks like she's experienced. She looks very athletic. So, I'm pretty sure she's going to put me to work. So that's the thing. When you're doing athletic stuff, it's not as bad because you're distracted. You're moving and stuff. It's the sitting underneath somebody that really makes the targeting horrible, because then it's like your mind is idle and thoughts are projecting. If I'm out there doing physical stuff, then I'm doing physical stuff and it's not going to be as bad. But anyway, so that's also to what I was taking care of. I was down there and I was dealing with, trying to contact the doctor that kind of facilitated the whole thing, to let her know that the 5 o'clock time won't work with my night shift, and then trying to find out if I could do like 6 o'clock. Like, I don't like that number, y'all, but trying to, figure out if the PT could start at 6 instead. So that way I could get off work, go straight, do the PT, maybe leave work like 10 minutes early, go to the PT, do the PT, and then go to work, so it won't be as long of a PT as I would like, but it would be something that hour of running would make a big difference, especially if I'm doing it Tuesday through Friday, like they were saying it was going to happen. And then I would be able to get off a little bit earlier. So it'll be less time of me sitting underneath somebody and my thoughts projecting into their head. And then me dealing with like the burden of feeling like I'm burdening someone. It's such a horrible feeling that way. Anyway, because they make it seem like I'm this apathetic, selfish person, but I'm not. I'm constantly like concerned with the fact that my thoughts are torturing the person that I'm sitting with, more so than I'm concerned with the torture that I'm feeling. Anyway, so that's what I was doing. I was down there trying to deal with that, and I ended up coming back up to the top, to the where I was, the room that they had me at for the day, and the girl that was up there with me, she had went to the main office. I remember peeping in the main office and seeing her there. So I said, well, while she's there, let me push up to the counter then and hold the fort, since I'm up here by myself. So for the first time for the day, I looked active, because I didn't feel like I was sitting up underneath somebody. So I felt comfortable to push up to the desk and really be active. So I sat up by the phone and I was ready to answer phones, and I was looking at the monitors and stuff. And a phone call came in from the doctor, and she and I were just talking about the PT, and I was telling her about my work schedule and trying to figure out what we could do to make it work for everyone. And so while I'm ending kind of the conversation with the doctor, the girl comes back up to the room, right? She already had like some sort of spray bottle on the desk. Mind you, she and I had been talking throughout the day, but not that often. It was really more so whenever she would talk to me, I was asking her a few questions, just trying to make sure that I had learned the job. I even remembered that she told me there's a website that you can look, the prisoners up on, and that you need to put the ID number in. And I remember everything she told me, so I was asking her questions to make sure I truly did know how to run up there. And after I, confirmed that I did, it was pretty much quiet unless she said something to me. We were having brief conversation every now and then. But it's this weird thing, whenever the person talks to me and then we stop talking, I start to twitch because then I know the person's watching me after we just spoke. It's this weird thing. I can't explain it, man. I'm an overthinker. I have social anxiety and I'm an overthinker. And so for me, dealing with this type of targeting has been like more torturous than it would be for the average person. So even just her conversing with me, and it happens with every officer. Whenever they talk to me, and then we stop talking, and they look down in the phone, and I realize, that they're likely watching me. I start to move this kind of awkward way because I'm like, okay, well, they're probably not watching my reaction after whatever it is we just talked about, even if it was something normal. It's just, I can't explain. It's just the weirdest thing ever. I just cannot deal with this, man. Anyway, so, and it's like they literally would not take this thing off me, 4 years going into 5 years because I sent an innocent text. I still can't believe it to this day, that somebody could get punished this bad for what I did, sending an innocent text. It still baffles me to this day. And this is why I keep kind of getting myself in trouble too, because I keep trying to like point out things that other people have done that's way worse. And then it's like, oh, yeah, now she's talking about more people. Like, they use it as a way to villainize me further. But anyway, so I stopped doing that, especially now that I'm working in the jail. That's mainly largely how they were able to like get the inmates and the detainees to be a part of it, because I've said offensive things about people who have committed crimes, not intentionally trying to offend them. Again, just saying, well, there's people that have done this and that have done that aren't going through what I'm going through. And then now it looks like I'm throwing them under the bus inadvertently. Just sucks. It's so unfair. The whole thing has been so unfair. So anyways, or being told I have an attitude because I'm dealing with what I'm dealing with. No, I'm gonna be sunshine and chipper and happy all day long. Like, I just don't get it. Like, or being, like, I'm trying to be careful. I just don't understand what's expected of me. I'm just trying to be honest. I don't understand what's expected of me. I really don't. Anyway, this butt's so positive you can be when you're dealing with certain stuff, and then it's just continuing and continuing. Anyway, so she, while I was finishing up the conversation with the doctor, she comes up. I'm sure she saw on her phone that I was up there on the phone. If my breath was really kicking, she could have lingered and held back outside of the office until the conversation was over. You could hear it was one of those convos that was about to be wrapped up. But she still came up in the room and sat next to me and then discreetly sprayed this spray as if my breath stunk. Mind you, I'm wearing the mask and I'm not even sitting right next to her. And the conversation was about to end. But then she sprayed, and mind you, everyone's watching on the camera, so that's perpetuating the false narrative that my breath stinks. So even though she was being cool in that moment, that wasn't cool. Right? So I saw her do it. Like, it was sitting right there. And it was obviously something she already had out. It's not like she pulled it out of her bag. It was sitting there on the counter, that spray. So, and I was sitting the whole day all the way in the back of the room, and she was up to the desk. There's no way she was smelling my breath all the way over there. I'm telling you that right now. And we weren't talking consistently throughout the day either. So it's, again, just another perpetuation of the false narrative. But anyway, I saw that, I was just like, oh boy. But I just ignored it. And when she did it, the doctor has to tell you, everyone's watching me. Even the doctor I was on the phone with. When she did it, the doctor went, this really happened, y'all. I swear to God, this happened. I'm talking to the doctor. The doctor, when she sprayed the spray, the doctor saw me see it. Like, the doctor obviously saw, she's obviously privy to the cameras like everyone else. She went, ahem. So I want you to understand why I be having the awkward PTSD and the fidgeting. Because I'm aware of the fact, I'm keenly aware of the fact that I'm being watched by everyone, even the person I'm talking to. So that's what the fidgeting is about. So I have to explain it out my mouth because I'll even hear comments about fidgeting or being nervous, and that's what it is. So I shouldn't have to explain that, Anyway, so anyways, the doctor's been pretty nice to me though. Like, I've been talking to her. When I was running the office pretty smooth, like, she called me and the conversation was cool. She sounded chipper and in a good mood. You can see I can do the job. It's not a matter of whether or not I can do the job. It's how I'm going to function as a target, and me now navigating through being a target and trying to work in a capacity where it's like a day job where I have to interact with people, because this is no longer a independent role, like an independent role, like when I do security at night. This is an actual 9 to 5, right? Now, not even 9 to 5, 8 to 5, and actually it's going to be an 8 to 8 when I become a CEO of the most experience of my life, where I have to work on a team now. I have to work with people. And so I have to navigate through being a target and doing this type of job with an introverted, awkward personality. I want you to understand what's going on. And if I had my own role in there, it wouldn't be as bad. I could get through it. But again, it's the sitting up right directly underneath somebody while this is happening that's really hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. And it's not a I don't want to be here thing. I do. I want the job. This is a very complicated situation and it's a very big burden on me, but I want the job. So anyways, that's what's going on. Anyway, so anyways, y'all. So she did a little spray thing. I'm like, oh my god, what the heck? And I got off. Anyway, regardless, I got off the phone and I went over to the chair and got through the day. Because this is not a video about work. It's not supposed to be about work. Again, bringing up work because that's where the doodle happened, and I'm trying to explain the state of mind I was in when I drew it. Just know I wasn't thinking about that man. I was thinking, get through the day, doodle, and try and distract your mind and get through the awkwardness of whatever, and try to distract your brain from ticking, so I was just doodling random doodles, and one of the doodles happened to resemble him. And if again you look at the features, you would see actually it didn't. It was really just his aesthetic, the muscularity, the dreadlocks, glasses, that's it. It didn't actually look like him if you look at the face. But anyway, so they started chirping all of a sudden, going crazy. And so when I looked at the guy, I said, oh my god, I know exactly why they're chirping. And so I immediately scratched the dreadlocks on and tried to do curly hair, but the damage was already done. I knew they were going to run with it. They'd already been going ham in the gym about this thing. They couldn't let it go, and not even in the gym, outside the gym too. So I knew it was going to be something in the gym. So anyways, I get to the gym. I went a little bit earlier than I normally do. Not really, I've been going in the evening time, but typically I'll go home and try to freshen up real quickly, use the bathroom since I'd be holding my stuff in all day, and then go. But, because the ride situation's still complicated, and it's off and on, and I'm working on getting a car just to ensure that I would be able to get there, because I can always figure out a ride afterwards, getting back after. Getting there is the problem. I said, let me just get dropped straight there after work. And straight after work, y'all, actually, I'm going to talk about this thing that happened to me too. Anyway, so I get in there, he's in there. Like I said, I talked about what happened when I first went in there and him saying, hey mama thing, right? Back to it. Back to this part in the gym now. So I did my adductors. I surpassed the first part of the gym where I normally go because he was there doing stuff. And I knew why. I knew what it was about. And so I just went over, but he seemed more pleasant today. He seemed in a better mood, even though I'm sure it was obviously gangstalking. He still seemed less, whatever. Less like he was trying to. It didn't seem like he was trying to. It seemed like he was coming in peace, despite this being gangstalking, if that makes sense. So it didn't seem like he was trying to antagonize me and change garbage and do all the extra stuff that he'd been doing. So I went over to that part of the gym, the other part, and I went to the Smith machine. I never do the Smith first. The Smith is literally the last workout I do. But I purposely went to that second side of the gym just to avoid being in the area with him and my brain ticking and giving the island a show because I knew what it was about. I knew it was because of that drawing. So I get on the Smith machine and I start squatting. He immediately comes behind me. On the machine behind me. I kid you not. He immediately came on the machine behind me. So I was like, what? I was just like, okay. Again, I'm not going to... I know what this is about. It's about that drawing I drew. It looks like what it looks like. Whatever. I'm just going to ignore it and work out. I already came to the thing in my head. I'm not reacting to anything that happens in the gym anymore. I'm going to be polite. I'm going to be mannerful. I'm going to ignore any gang stalking that's taking place. I'm not going to be whatever. I already came to that thing in my head because it created so much backlash for me just having these reactions. And the more I react, the more worse it gets. I learned that a long time ago. So I already in my head, even before this thing started kind of happening yesterday, I already in my head said I wasn't having reactions. But then also I'm good at reading people's energy. And the way he spoke to me in the back room, I could tell he wasn't coming with nothing. Even though he was gang stalking, I could tell he wasn't coming with anything negative. It's not like those times where you come in at the end of my work and spitefully changing the garbage and doing extra stuff to get me upset. This time it didn't feel like that energy this time. So okay, cool. I'm gonna just ignore him and do my thing because I know why this is happening. So I went over to my backpack and I was just taking my oregano oil. I take it throughout the workout because it opens, like I set up the blood vessels and it helps with blood flow and breathing better and etc. etc. And when you're weightlifting, it puts pressure on your chest and stuff. It actually helps strengthen the cardiovascular system, but it also puts a pressure on it too. That's why they say if you're somebody that has heart problems, you shouldn't be weightlifting. So it can strengthen your heart, but it can also be an issue if you're someone that has a weak heart. So anyway, I'm always making sure to put some oregano oil under my tongue, and it really helps. I take a little bit of coffee for that, burst of energy, and I actually want to find a more natural, a better energy source, because coffee over time can burn out your adrenal glands. But anyway, I do a little coffee, and I do the oregano oil. And so as I'm getting myself prepped to go on the machine, a song came on, right? I've been adding new songs to my playlist, but unfortunately with the targeting, they make everything about things that it's not about. Before it was the cyberstalking, cyberbullying situation. Every song I put on, it was about that man. Now it's this guy in the gym. Every song I put on, they're making it about him. And so constantly I'm feeling awkward. Outside the gym, I put a song, I'm like, oh, this sounds nice. I like it. I put it on my playlist. I get to the gym, it's playing, something's being made out of it. I'm like, shit. And now that he has this girlfriend in place too, they're inserting her in the targeting too. So it's just like, oh my God. It's just like I literally have to filter through songs and not put certain songs on my playlist now. It really sucks. Because I'm the kind of person, I like an eclectic, broad range of music. I like different types of music. I like different types of songs. And so it really sucks. I like romance songs, and oftentimes the best romance songs are heartbreak songs. It's just like I can't listen to the things I want to listen to anymore. So anyways, but I don't be putting heartbreak songs on my thing like that. But I'm just saying, love songs, romance, R&B songs. I didn't mean to say romance. I meant to say R&B. R&B songs are typically romance songs, love songs. It's either about heartbreak or it's about being in love. And so I like those types of songs, and I don't feel like I can put on my playlist because anything that plays, flying the mosquito in my face, his girlfriend's coming to the gym by the counter, like just weird stuff. The other day they sent me this girl with green hair. She was on my playlist before I left Island. This happened not yesterday at the gym, the night before yesterday. Not everything's about this guy, It's not, but it's like they're making everything about him. So the night before last, I was in there, and before I got there, a few days before I went back to the gym, this is not last night when whatever happened, I'm talking about the time before last when I went to the gym. Before I got there, a few days before I got there, they sent me this girl with green hair. She was on my playlist before I left Island. They all saw this happen. They will see how a song gets on my playlist, and they'll still create something from it. It's crazy. Anyway, so in my newsfeed, I saw the girl with the green hair, and she was on my playlist, like I said, before I tried to relocate off Island in 2022. I had a song for her on my playlist. I couldn't remember what the song was. So I was like, oh my God. I said, because oftentimes they do this. Sometimes I think they dig through my algorithms or whatever, and they'll send me old songs or old artists I used to listen to. So it's like, okay, now they're doing good. I said, now they're doing good with the shadow networking. Or with the algorithm. I was like, I remember her and I used to like her music. So I was like, oh, I love it. So I clicked on her song, and when I listened to it, it was a song full of sensitization and with a message that I did not subscribe to. Saying stupidness, again, trying to paint false narrative, And so I was like, okay, this definitely wasn't the song for her that I had on my playlist. So I went over to her channel, I started looking through her songs, and then I saw a song for her what was talking about. It's called Obviously. And basically she was saying, obviously I wasn't the girl for you. I didn't, basically saying she didn't treat him right, or, I can't remember exactly how the song goes, but basically the gist of it was like she messed up in the relationship. She messed him up. She did him wrong, and then he found someone new. That's the gist of the song. But I didn't listen to the whole song. I just saw the title and I said, this is the song I had on my playlist. I said, it's not that strippiness they sent in the newsfeed. I wanted to prove that it wasn't that song that they had put in my newsfeed, because I'd made this big production. Yeah, that's the girl I had on my playlist. And then when I clicked and listened to the song, I didn't like the message. I was like, whoa, this ain't the song though. I said, there's shadow networking. And so I clicked on her channel and I looked through, and when I saw the title of the song that I did have on my playlist, I was like, okay, this is the song. Understand, I had that song on my playlist before I ever knew that man from the gym. It wasn't about him. It wasn't about a guy from my past, not him. So anyways, a guy I was actually in a relationship with. So anyways, I was like, this is the song. And I didn't remember the message of the song either. I just remembered the title. I was like, obviously. I was like, this is the song. I know they saw this happen. So I clicked on the song and I was like, this is it. And I put it into my playlist, and I put it on my playlist without listening to it. So now I get to the gym and the songs are playing through, the algorithm's happening. And that song comes on. And so I thought in my head, oh my God, this sounds like, I didn't think it because they can hear my thoughts. But instantly I thought, oh my God, now that I'm here in the gym, and this is playing, this is not a good sound. They're gonna swear, even though they saw how the thing got on my playlist, they're gonna swear this is for that guy. Do you know, as soon as the song started playing, I didn't think it though. I don't feel like I want to explain every time a song comes on my playlist. I started doing that every time a song would come on my playlist because I noticed in the gym, sometimes something will play and I just start seeing some sort of activity in the gym because of what I'm listening to. So I started, explaining in my head so they could hear my thoughts why or how a song got on my playlist. That started becoming a thing that I was doing. And so I didn't do it this time. I was just like, oh my God. I just was like, okay, I'm going to just let it play through. And the phone wasn't nearby. I had it plugged in on the other side of the gym. It was literally over by the treadmill area charging. And I was in mid-set doing my squats on the Smith machine. So when I finally finished my squats, I went over to change the song because I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. I'm like, I know what they're going to do with this. Do you know, as I'm heading over there to change the song, his girlfriend comes in and goes up to the counter. I was just, she's just like on call. Like, it's like she and him are on call at the gym. I don't know what's going on. I was not seeing a girl in there. I walked over to the area where my phone was plugged in to change the song. I see her come up to the counter. I was like, God, this song ain't for that man. I wasn't even with him. I said offensive things in reaction to gangstalking he was doing, but I wasn't with him. So that song wouldn't apply to him. But anyways, it's just like, oh boy. This is really like, they made it into like this love and hip hop saga is what they're creating. And they're making it like I just did the dude so dirty. Like I just randomly started to diss him up. I actually was reacting to weeks and weeks of him doing stuff. Passive aggressive stuff, and it got so bad he insinuated I was trash. Like, what the heck? He even had girls bending down in front of the machine, so I'm squatting them eye level with the girls behind. He was doing some real gnarly gang stalking stuff in the morning time when the thing with the Italian guy was happening. And so eventually it built up and built up and built up, and I finally just went off on him that day. And then from there, it was just history from there. It was just like a downhill spiral from there. It wasn't something that I started. And him and I weren't together to say I did him wrong. So it's not like that type of situation. So that song wouldn't apply to him. Or any romance song that I put on. So they gotta stop. They have to stop. But anyways, so that's what happened that night. So now here, this night, yesterday. Hold on a second, y'all. Let me go blow my nose. Anyways, y'all, so now let's continue talking about what happened yesterday when I was at the gym. Because the thing with the Obviously song and his girlfriend going up to the counter, like I said, was the time before last when I was at the gym. So anyways, I took the song off my playlist. Long story short, I actually liked the song. I took it off my playlist. There's several songs I took off my playlist because I realized they're going to keep making it like it's, about him. So similar to what was happening with the cyberbullying dude, I feel like I can't listen to any song that has anything to do with romance. Even though this is about, it's being created about someone that I had no relationship with. At least not a romantic one. Anyway, so yesterday, I went over to the Smith machine, and like I said, he seemed like he came in peace. Even though I could tell it was gang stalking, he seemed like he was coming in peace. So I didn't feel no negative, nothing towards him. I just didn't want to be in the same area with him working out and my brain ticking and everyone watching like his poppy show. I just didn't feel like that. So I just totally skipped that part of the gym and I went over to the Smith machine. So like I said, I was prepping for the Smith and this song came on, another song I took off my playlist now called I Wanna Be Down. That song for Brandy, where she's like, for what you're going through and you look like the type of dude I should approach and all this type of stuff she's saying in the song, right? And he's there on the machine. So I was like, oh boy. So you know what? Remember I told you he immediately went on the machine behind me, behind the Smith. So I was like, oh boy, let me change it. I didn't pick the song. I just hit next. And the next song that came on the list was talking about choppers. This is like this ratchet song I put on my playlist. Sometimes you don't necessarily subscribe to the message in a song, but you appreciate the art of it. I like music. I make music myself. So I listen to all types of music. I told you I have an eclectic taste. I like to listen to rock and roll. I like to listen to hip hop. I like to listen to R&B. I like to listen to neo soul. I like to listen to reggae. I like it all, except opera. I keep saying this, and they kept shadow networking and sending me opera when I said that. That's literally the only genre of music I don't like is opera. I even listen to country sometimes. I like Chris Stapleton and this girl named Spencer Baker. Like I even listen to country sometimes. And Cheryl Underwood. Anyway, so So this song is one of those songs where it's like a genre I don't typically listen to. It's like trap music, and it has like talking about shooting and this and that's the only song on my playlist like that. I actually think I took it off now. And we're gonna get the choppers and ain't a damn thing change and da da da. It's just one of them songs that they threw in my news feed, and I actually liked how it sounded. It just went hard, the beat, and it just sounded good. I appreciated the art of it, not necessarily the message. But that's what came on when I took the other song off, because it was one of those romance songs and I saw what was happening with him in the gym. I just hit next. I didn't click on the song. I just hit next, and that song came on. And so as soon as that song came out, I was like, oh boy, he gonna think this is for him. So I saw him start sitting up immediately. I was like, oh God. So I immediately tried to change it, and I saw his girlfriend walk up to him. So I was like, oh my God. I said, this is not, I didn't click the song. I didn't think that in my head. I wasn't trying to explain myself to them. But now look, this idiot revving by. They will actually see what happened. They will actually see, because they have access to my phone, they will see what happened and still purposely perpetuate and push a false narratives to be spiteful. Now, mind you, before she walked up, I had already hit next. I was like, oh boy. And so I hit next, but he already started sitting up, and then she walked up, right? And so I was just like, oh well, nothing I could do about it. This situation I didn't create it, but it's happening. Oh well. So I put the phone and I said, let me just do my squats. I said, God, let me just do my squats. Because I'm on eggshells in there. I wasn't trying to come for the man in any kind of way. I was like tiptoeing, literally not wanting to offend him in any way, shape, or form. Especially since I felt like he was coming in peace yesterday. Really did. I felt his energy when he came in the back room and he spoke to me, and it felt like the old him. And so I was like, I wasn't trying to do anything to offend him. I literally skipped the part of the gym where he was at. And I went to the Smith machine. And he came on the machine behind me. I can't help what music is on my playlist. So anyway, when the song came on, it was sounding like I'm going to approach you and this. And I know the man have a girlfriend. He's sitting right behind me. I said, let me change this thing. So I went to change it, and I just hit next. And that was the song that came on next. I was like, oh shit, he going to think I put this on for him. And literally I saw him sitting up. And so I hit next again. And at that point still it seemed like, I think they caught on that that's not what it was. But his girlfriend then had already started walking up to him. So I was like, oh boy. So I said, this is going to be a very awkward workout for me. Thanks, Sharifa, for doodling and getting yourself in problems again. For simply doodling. So anyways, I start squatting on the Smith and just minding my business, right? He starts working out on the leg press machine with his girlfriend, right? So I'm just like, oh boy. You know what? I'm going to just tune it out. I'm going to tiptoe and try very hard not to do anything that seems offensive. So I'm just squatting on the Smith. I get to the heavier squats now. I get to my last 5. When I get to the 50, when I get to the 45, I go heavier. My last 5 squats are real heavy, right? I do 200, I do 220, I do 240, and I do 250. I needed to pee, y'all. I needed to pee bad because, again, like I told you, because, moving kind of with the car and, trouble with getting to the gym and stuff, I wore my gym clothes underneath my uniform, and I said, just drop me straight to the gym after work. So I didn't even go home and pee and freshen up like I normally do. So I went to the gym needing to pee, knowing that I would be lifting heavy. I've actually seen videos of females that were deadlifting and they peed themselves. I said that was so nasty. I'd quicker stop mid workout than pee on the floor, right? But as I got to the heavies now, that was what was about to start happening. But before it happened, this is what happened, right? I I had to go and get my weights. So before I even started doing the heavy stuff and I almost peed myself, I went to, because I want you to understand, I almost broke my back because of this. Not broke my back, but I almost damaged myself because I started peeing myself. But before that even happened, right, I just went over to get the plates because I put the little 10-pound plates on once I get to the heavies, right? I put 4 45-pound plates on the barbell. And y'all, technically, I'm doing heavier than what I'm saying because the barbell itself for the Smith weighs 15 pounds. So I'm going 15 pounds heavier than anything I'm telling you I'm doing. So when I told you I'm doing 200, I'm really doing 215. The 220 is really 235. The 240 is really 255. And the 250 is really 265 that I'm squatting, by the way. And on the other squat machine, I'm going heavier. I'm in the 300s. But, I don't give myself total credit with that because even though it is difficult and I'm really squatting that weight, it's more support. It's not as difficult as doing it or as challenging as doing it on the Smith. So that's why I'm not up there. On the Smith, I'm at 265, 250, really. But technically, if you count the barbell, 265. So anyways, I'm looking for the 10-pound plates. I look over in the 3 locations where I know them to be. And of all nights, they're all stacked up by where this man is standing by his girlfriend on the leg press machine. There's this little rack where they have weights. So I just very calmly walked over there because I'm not having an issue with him. And he was, like I said, seeming peaceful that night. He seemed peaceful last night. And so I just very calmly grabbed the plates. I grabbed the plates and I walked over and I start putting them on. And his girlfriend at that time got up and she sat down. And so as I'm putting the plates on, I noticed that she's watching me and she keeps rubbing her nose. She's watching over at me while I'm at the Smith and rubbing her nose and rubbing her nose. So I was like, this is the first time I've seen her doing passive aggressive stuff. I'm like, please don't tell me this lady thinks I'm coming on to her man, because I'm not. I'm really not. I understand that this is your thing, right? And this is a relationship that y'all have just blossomed into or whatever's going on. I'm not trying to get next to this man. I'm targeted. I'm trying to stay alive right now. I'm coming to the gym for the millionth time as a way to keep sane and to take care of my body. I'm not looking man, okay? I don't want your man, no disrespect. He is my type. I don't want him. I'm trying to work out and I'm trying to take care of myself. That doodle was just a doodle. All of this extra stuff, no. Y'all ain't have to do all of this, right? So that was the first time I seen her doing it. I'm noticing, like, she just keep looking over at me. I'm all the way over at the Smith. She's sitting in the corner by the leg press machine. And she just kept rubbing on her nose and rubbing on her nose. So I was like, oh boy. I was like, okay. It's getting passive aggressive now. I'm not trying to come on to your man, sweetie. I'm not. We've been working out for a whole year and change and ain't nothing pop off. So it's not going to pop off now that he's in a relationship with you. And obviously you're sitting right there too. So there's nothing going on, So anyways, I'm putting the weights on. I just ignored her doing that. And, I was just like, okay, whatever. So I put the weights on. I'm doing my thing. She continues to do her leg press thing. I get to I think it was the 240 is where I believe it. Yeah, it was a squat before the 250. I get to the 240 and the P really like it wanted to come down on me because that's where you're getting real heavy now. That's 255. And so I squat down right in the 240 and I'm doing ass to grass. I'm not doing parallel. I'm doing ass to grass with these squats. I'm going all the way ass to the floor with these squats and it's heavy weight. When I'm trying to get back up out of the squat, I noticed the pee started coming down on me. Like literally I thought I was going to pee on the floor. And so I tried to rush up out of the squat in an unnatural way and in an unbalanced way. And I ended up almost taking my lower back out. So I put the thing, I racked it up and I started limping over to the AC. And there's this guy that they be putting in there. I believe he's a gangstalker. It's obvious. But he's very nice. So I don't mind. When they send gangstalkers in there that are peaceful, that come in peace, that are nice and not doing extra stuff or passive aggressive stuff, I don't mind their presence being there. I don't. Now, if it's a night where I'm just in bitch mode and it feels like everyone's attacking me, then I might just be like in bitch mode. But for the most part, I don't mind like a gangstalker that's there in peace. So anyways, I can kind of tell this guy's a gangstalker now at this point, but he's always mannerful and he's always polite. And so I don't mind his presence. I actually think he's Haitian. I'm not sure. I can't tell. I could be wrong, but I'm getting a vibe like he might be Haitian. I really am. And I don't, like I said, I haven't seen many Haitians on here. I know they're down here. But I haven't seen them like that. There's one in the prison. I haven't seen them like that. Haitians and Jamaicans, I haven't seen them like that down here. It's only now in the targeting that I'm meeting some of them. Like for me, my first encounter with Haitian and Jamaican men was when I moved to Florida. That was when I was meeting them like crazy, like endless of them. Like they were the main populace. They were the main types of island people. Them and Bahamians. The Trinis, the Virgin Islanders, the other islands, yeah, I was meeting those too. But the main focus was Jamaicans, Haitians, and Bahamians in Florida. Anyway, so I think he's Haitian. But he was over there, he said, whoa, you okay? He said, I'm watching you, He said, I'm watching you. I said, what's going on? He said, you need to be careful. I said, yeah, I know. I said, I almost took my back out. I didn't want to explain to the man that I started peeing myself because I was holding my pee all day at work. And if I didn't get dropped after the gym right now, then I wasn't gonna make it to the gym. I didn't want to give him all of that commentary, so it was just like I almost took my back out, and it wasn't like I almost peed myself too. Actually, I started to pee myself a little bit. Actually, that's a TMI. I'm not gonna tell him that. So my back almost got taken out. I'm like, of all nights for this to happen to when this big debacle is happening with this man and his girlfriend, I'm like, this is not the night for me to be messing up and taking my back out. I don't want to throw my back out tonight. Like this ain't the night. So anyways, damn, this cough is horrible. Anyways, y'all, that wasn't even the coup de grace of the night. So after, finishing whatever with the squats, because other than that, he was being pleasant with his girlfriend. They were doing their thing. Yeah, it was gang stalking, but it wasn't like, other than her really rubbing her nose, it was normal. Nothing crazy was happening. They moved eventually to another part of the gym. I'm doing my squats. It was just me and the guy that had just told me he was watching me and to be careful. That was in that area, and I was just finishing off my squats. And I noticed he would purposely, when he saw me squatting, he would wait, until I was done squatting to pass in front of me, because it's a known fact that that's an issue for me. Now, let me explain what's going to happen with this mirror thing and explain my feelings towards it, because this is being taken out of context, what's going on with the mirror, right? So anyways, as I was about to squat, he would keep, every time I was about to squat and he's doing his thing with the weights, he would purposely wait and let me finish my set, and then he would pass. But this time he was about to pass, and I hopped in about to do a set, and I realized he was about to pass, and so I put the thing down. He said, no, go ahead, do your set. I said, no, don't worry about it, because he was being polite, and I realized that he really wasn't trying to spite me. I said, no. I said, go ahead. I said, you go ahead and do what you're doing. I can finish my set after. You were moving first. So he finished doing what he's doing, and then I finished my set. So the dude that I talked about in the last video, towards the end of the last video, that I kind of had the little episode with, and I said I was familiar with his sister, and their family went viral, blah blah blah. That guy, I guess he heard the video. I hadn't even listened to it yet, but I guess he heard when I was making it. I made it in the wee hours of the morning, by the way, y'all. But people are up at all times of the night. And I think when people are up, they're watching me. I think it's just fun to do. It's entertaining. It's like the most fascinating thing I think that's ever happened on this island, and really in life in general. I think anybody that comes in contact with this program would be fascinated with watching somebody live out their life in real life. People are fascinated with reality TV, much less no script, unscripted reality TV, where you're really seeing the real inner workings of someone's life live. No matter how exploited that person feels, it's entertaining, I suppose. So anyway, I think he somehow caught wind of the video I made, because I hadn't even played it yet, but I did upload it. And so when I was making it, obviously somebody heard it. And so I think he caught wind of it, and so he was in there that night. First, before that happened though, when I first got over there to the Smith machine, he did come over to shake my hand. And so I dopped him up. I gave him a dops. And then he went about his business. But then when that guy, like I said, that I could tell is a gang stalker, was about to pass, and he said, oh, sorry, go ahead and do your side. I said, no, you go ahead. And he passed in front of me, and he, went in his corner. I went to do the set. This dude came in front of the mirror and purposely grabbed two weights and literally just stood him very close to the mirror. You wouldn't even stand that close normally to lift weights, but he went very close to the mirror and completely blocked the whole thing. I couldn't see myself. So I said, I'm in a peaceful mood tonight, and I already said I'm not going to be negative anymore in this gym to anybody. Even if it feels like obvious gang stalking, I'm going to be polite and mannerful. No more reactions. So I put the thing down, and I just went up to him, and I softly tapped his back. Mind you, my music was going. So once again, a communication issue, right? Because he's saying if I had asked him politely, but I did. But you could tell it was theater. You could tell he wasn't really mad. Like the way he was going on, he's not a good actor. You could tell it was theater. It wasn't like, I've dealt with dudes that were really mad before, and this wasn't that. You could tell when a dude's really about to like explode versus where they're like playing up. He was playing. But it was still like he was a theater. So anyways, I just softly tapped his back, and I couldn't hear him, right? Because I had my music on, but I thought he could hear me. I guess it was like a deaf person. Maybe he didn't hear what I said, but I said, hey, can you please move over to the side a little bit in the mirror? I'm trying to squat on the Smith machine, and I need to see myself. So normally when I do that, the person will say, okay, I'm sorry. They'll pretend like they didn't know what was going on, and then they'll move over. He turns around and he said, you know what? He said, okay. He said, just this time. He said, but next time, don't do that. Don't do that when you see me in the middle of a set. So I took my earphones off. I was trying to hear what he was saying now. He's like, don't do that when you see me in the middle of a set. Don't do that ever again to me. He said, because you don't own this mirror. He said, this mirror belongs to everyone. He said, and for you to interrupt my thing, if you had at least said it politely. I said, but I did say it politely. I said, I tapped you softly. And I said, may you please move over so I can see myself squatting. And he said, but I shouldn't have to move over. He said, this is not your gym. You don't own the mirror. He said, what? He said, you know what? Don't ever tell me anything again in this gym. He said, you know what? And he was walking this way. And so then the guy, it was theater, dude. It was complete theater. So then all the dudes start walking up to him and acting like they're calming him down. And then the dude's girlfriend walks up to him too, and she tried to calm him down. Meanwhile, Anyways, y'all, let me quiet down because I had somebody knock on my door and tell me about this same person be in the room yelling. We all talk about it when he's on the phone for however long he wants to, But anyways, I don't want problems, so I'm gonna just try to quiet down. And let me also try to hurry up and wrap the video up. So anyway, while he's going off and popping off, all the dudes are trying to calm him down. And the dude that for I don't want to say for me, but the dude that I had said was my type, that the thing was happening with, was trying to talk to me and tell me to just hold it down and don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So they're all over there trying to calm him down, and his girlfriend is over there trying to calm the dude down. And he's over there talking to me, telling me, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." And I said, "I know, man. I could tell he's not really mad." I was just chuckling it off because I could tell the guy wasn't really mad. I could tell it was theater. But he's like, he even went to the owner of the gym. He's like, Gil, does she own the married? And let me explain this. I could tell it was theater. I think this was his way of showing me why he was moving the way he moved with me. I guess I don't know. This is what I'm assuming. This was his form of theater of showing why I was getting the retribution, because maybe like they're painting it like I'm this selfish person that thinks I'm or entitled person. But that's not the case. With the mirror thing, I've said this numerous times. I understand that this is a gym that we're all paying to use. So I don't own the mirror. But there is also some sort of camaraderie ship when you work out with people, and you have to work with the people around you because it is a shared space. So if you see someone using a machine and they need the mirror, that part of the mirror at least, to do their workout, I've already explained I'm a long femur squatter. So people like me who have long femurs, we're susceptible to poor squat form. So they advise us to look in the mirror when we're squatting so we can make sure that we're upright, because we have the tendency to lean forward over our knees and it can hurt our knees. That was the issue with me when I first started squatting. So anytime they're in the mirror, I can't see myself and I tend to start going forward over my knees. It always happens. And so for me, it's not really a I own the mirror thing. It's more of a, can you work with me? Because I need the mirror, this part of it, to do my squats, where it's a big, long mirror. And what you're doing, you can do in any part of the mirror. That's what it is. So it's more like a common courtesy type thing. I'm not saying you have to move. It's a, may you please move over and use that part of the mirror? Since I can't physically move the Smith machine, but you can move with the dumbbells that you have in your hand. So out of courtesy, since I was here first, using this part of the mirror, because I was here first and you came and cut in front of me whether you realized it or not, may you please move over and use the other part of the mirror, because you can do that. And that's what it's about. It's not I think I own the gym, or I think I own the mirror type of thing. It's not like I'm trying to utilize the whole mirror. I'm using one part of the mirror, and there's a whole other part that you can use. You literally cut in front of me while I'm doing my squats. So if that was his way of showing me why he did what he did, it didn't hit. It doesn't make sense. So anyways, I didn't take it too hard. I thought it was funny, actually. I just realized it was probably retribution because of me talking about him in my video, and maybe his way of showing why certain things are happening in the gym. I don't know. But this still doesn't make sense, because again, it's still like people are blocking the mirror to spite me. I need that part of the mirror in order to have proper squat form. And there's other parts of the mirror where the people that are blocking me can use to do the workouts that they're doing. Especially if I was there first. I could see if he was there first, and then I come to the Smith and I try to ask him to move. And even still, that wouldn't be a big deal, because it's still out of common courtesy. You could move and use the other part of the mirror and do your workout. You could do that. So if I asked you politely, it's your choice to tell me yes or no, but that's not me being entitled. But the point is, I was in the mirror first doing my squats. I was mid-set, and he knew it too. So that didn't hit. Whatever message he was trying to convey there, it didn't hit. I just thought it was funny. I didn't take it on because I could tell he wasn't really mad. Like, I could tell it was all just like theater. The whole night was theater. It was comical. It was just theater, nonstop theater. So anyways, after that interaction happens now, I get on the leg press machine. I'm doing my leg presses. I couldn't even go. I'm the kind of person that likes to do full reps because I want to make sure I'm getting like the maximum results from my workouts. But because I almost took my back out when I was squatting the 240, technically 255, and I started to pee myself, and so I tried to come up quick, and I ended up almost taking my damn back out. When I was on the leg press machine, I couldn't go all the way down. My back was hurting me so bad. I was like trying to do this and that, but I didn't want to not do the workout. So I purposely, I was forcing myself to do the workout, and the 270 was really hurting me. I couldn't even get it all the way down like I normally do, full rep. But anyways, I got through that and I was finally leaving, right? So I went to go get my shoes and stuff and I put my shoes on. and I'm leaving. I notice as I'm walking out the gym, I see the dude. He left his girlfriend in the gym working out. I see him hopping into his car as I'm leaving. I went back to the back room to get my phone because it was plugged into the charger. Not my phone, my boots and my work uniform. I went to get that stuff. So he saw me do that. He ran out to his car. And so as I'm leaving out of the gym, he's hopping in his car and driving up, right, to park in front of the grocery store that I would have to walk past in order to go sit by the bus stop to wait for my ride to come pick me up. So he parks and he just stands outside his car and just waits for me to walk by him. So I'm feeling basity and awkward because I know the whole thing is happening because of this innocent doodle that wasn't him that I drew. So it's not like I'm going to give attitude because I understand why it's happening. I know the man thinks I was literally, what idiot would do that? With everything that's happened between him and I, all of the contention, right? And all of the backlash that I've gotten. And then him even now having a new girlfriend who they were trying desperately to create something with. What idiot would sit there? This is almost akin to the text message where it's just like, let's use reason here. Even if it looks like whatever it looks like, let's use reason. I'm not a stupid girl. As much as they try to call me slow, they contradict themselves anyway. One minute they're calling me a genius, the next minute they're calling me slow and stupid. So it's just contradictory things they keep throwing at me. I'm not a stupid girl, okay? I'm not, right? I actually have a pretty decent IQ. It's not like super high, but it's a little bit above average. I'm not a stupid girl. I'm not going to sit there and doodle and draw this man to create more shit for myself. It was an innocent doodle that happened to resemble his aesthetic. Anyway, so whatever it was, I just walked by him and I put my head down because I felt awkward and I didn't know what to do. And as I'm walking by him, they all start revving in the road and going crazy. Like they were going ham in the road. I was just like, what the heck? So I'm like, well, maybe now the stuff in the gym will stop and it'll be peaceful for real. Maybe this is the lick that they wanted or needed to let the thing go. Because I don't know what it was that they needed or wanted from the situation, from me. I think they wanted a different reaction than what they got. So maybe now if they feel like I was drawing him at work and sad and like a puppy and I came to the gym and all this stuff happened, maybe now that will be like, okay, white flag and things will go back to normal in the gym. I just want to go to the gym. I'm going there to work out. I'm trying to stay alive right now. I'm not studying man or romance. I would like to get married and have children someday. I did say that. And very soon too, actually, like within, the next few years, because I'm getting older. I wish they would get me out of the program, let me out. But at the moment, the exact moment, I'm not looking for that. I'm actually trying to stay alive and survive and navigate through being a target. So I don't have time. He's living his carefree, nice life, happy life. And he's only dealing with the little pieces of my targeting whenever I'm around. I'm dealing with this thing 24/7. I don't have time to focus on little minuscule petty things because that's trivial to me. All of that's trivial. That situation with him. I got bigger things to deal with and bigger things that's on my brain. I'm telling you. So anyway, they revving by and acting crazy. I just thought it was the funniest thing ever. And I sit down at the bus stop, and it's just like exhausting, y'all. I finally just, had to just catch my breath because it was such a long day. To go from 9 hours of just constant whatever at work, not constant them doing anything. I'm talking about my brain ticking, the birds chirping, people revving on the roads, worrying about if my coworkers, being tortured by my thoughts. That is what I'm talking about. Just to go from that's extremely exhausting, to now go to the gym to try to release some tension and now have to worry about them creating stuff from a doodle I did at work. It was just like, oh my God. And I did this intense workout. I almost peed myself. I almost broke my lower back. I had to just sit down at the thing and just catch my breath and laugh because it's just like, if you don't laugh, oh my God, you go crazy in this thing. So they start sending me all kind of bullshit with the technology. Send me Candy Burris from Real Housewives of Atlanta before she met her husband. She was wearing this little super tight dress and she worked out, so her body was looking good. She walking through with the tight dress on, like thirst trapping, talking about, are there any single men around? Do you know when she started doing that? They all started roughing by in the road and acting crazy, like as if I'm doing that. I don't even wear short stuff. When I go out to to the gym, I'm always wearing long stuff. I'm always covered up. They be sending girls in there sometimes wearing short pum-pum stuff, thirst trapping, looking for attention, trying to use me as a guise. I don't do that. I could be wearing a little short. I don't do it. I'm always wearing long stuff. I'm always covered up. I'm wearing very basic gym clothes. If not that, I'm wearing my uniform. When I go out to the grocery store, I'm wearing workout clothes. I don't wear short stuff. I have a short dress in there right now. If I want to pull it down over my body, I could do it. I don't do it. So it's just like they're creating these fanatical fantasies with the targeting and treating me like I'm a sim character and they're using me to create whatever fantasies in their head, like it's a video game, and not realizing this is somebody's real life. It's crazy to me. Anyway, I don't have any issues with the guy. Like I said, I could tell he's a nice guy outside of the target. I can tell he's a nice person. I think this is why everybody was riding so hard for him, even though he started with me first. I could tell that's why everyone was riding so hard for him, because to all, I guess, whatever, to everybody that's viewing, the misconception of me, or whatever the preconceived notion is, that I'm this villainous bitch that just treats everybody terrible, and this was just another victim on the list, even though they saw him thing up with me first. But outside of that, I can actually tell he's an irie dude, aside from like what he was doing to me, with the Gangstalking. I actually, like, I'm good at vibing out people. I can tell he's an irie dude. So I don't have an issue with him. If we could go back to working out and just cool and chill in there and no issue, and no actually them not making stuff out of everything, then that'd be cool for me. I'm fine with that. Even, like, he looks happy, so that's good that he's happy. Look, I was even squatting. I'm telling you, I was squatting when he was in the background, and his girlfriend was walking in front of me to get something, and I saw him in the mirror smiling. So he looks like he's happy. He looks like he's proud of whatever situation he has going for himself. I think they're a beautiful couple. I'm not kidding. Their body goals, right? His body's looking good. Her body's looking good, right? They look good. They're a good looking couple. I'm happy for them. I don't have any issues with the man. I just want to go and work out in peace. And I want them to stop creating stuff, because I had nothing with him. Like, I said some offensive stuff in reaction to what he was doing to me. He was going ham on me. And that's all it was. It was just a reaction. I'm done with it. I just want to go and work out. Anyway, that's it, y'all. I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace. Hey, y'all. Just another thing, quick ad. In the next clip, you're going to hear 23 minutes of me sharing an experience that took place at work the other day. Like I said, I'm done with these work videos. Unless something really crazy happens. Like, if it's just regular, everyday, like, direct-to-convo, or something, happens that's everything is going to be targeting, honestly, like I said earlier in the video. I'm a target right now. So the goal is to work my way out of the program. But no matter where I am, there's going to be some sort of targeting activity. It's just how it is. It's a target at work, at home, on the roof, at the gym, at the grocery store. It's just, I'm a target. So I'm just came to that conclusion, and I'm going to deal with it accordingly. I just need to get out of the program. So I don't have really anything else about work that I'm planning to post, like I said, unless something super crazy happens. But this thing happened the other day at work, and it was just this PTSD reaction I had while I was waiting outside of work for some test results to come back, some COVID test results. You're going to hear the whole rundown in the next clip. But I was going to add it to the last video I posted, the part 3. Let me go over to YouTube, y'all. I was going to add it to the part 3, the villainization of the targeted individual video. But as y'all can see, that video was already 3.5 hours long, like super long. And I was just like, nah, I'm not about to add this to that video and make it like 4 hours long. It's already a 23-minute clip, so that would have been damn near close to 4 hours if I had added it to that video. So I'm adding it to the end of this video. It has nothing to do with what happened in this video, but it is relative in the sense that it's talking about a PTSD reaction and, kind of like reactive abuse, that kind of way. It wasn't an angry reaction, but it was a PTSD reaction. And even when you have anxious PTSD responses, that too is reactive abuse, because it's a reaction to targeted individual abuse, like them sending sensitization via the technology, like what you're going to hear happen in the next clip, and then me having an anxious reaction to it. That's reactive abuse as well, not just angry reactions. So anyways, I did want to post it on my channel because I like to document these things. So if a similar incident occurs in the future, I can just play the video. That's why I do what I do, But anyway, so I just to let me add it to the end of this video, because I don't want it to be its own separate video, and I didn't want to add it to that part 3 video that was already so long. So that's what you're going to hear in the next clip, y'all. You're going to just hear about something that took place at work the other day. It's 23 minutes long. So I just wanted to add this commentary in explaining why, it would seem like that random clip is added to the end of this video. Anyways, talk to you in the next one. Peace out. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the channel. This is like a short clip, y'all. I guess I don't know. I'm probably going to add this to the end of the part 3 video that I'm still working on. I guess you'll be hearing this at the end of the video. The very end of the video. I wasn't really intending to. This is what I was talking about, y'all, in the earlier clips. I don't like taking long to make videos because then more things happen and then I want to add more stuff, and I'm not trying to document every little thing that happens every day. It's just not, it's futile to do that. But sometimes things happen where you just really want to talk about it. Like, this is so bad. I'm at work and I'm talking about it. Like, I never do videos at work. I wait till I leave. I never, unless I'm at my night job, I never sit and make videos at work. That's just not something I do. But like, I feel like I had a reaction this morning. I feel like, I want to talk about it, Anyway, so, okay. So I left work yesterday because I had a cough. I still have a cough right now. It's this weird cough that's going around. I just wanted to make sure I didn't have COVID. I was put up in this central tower is what it's called, which is a part of the facility or the jail where you kind of navigate like what's going on as far as the radio calls and movements throughout the prison, calls to the facility, etc. You navigate those things in that area. Typically, I don't like being put up there anyway. I've said this before, right? And I even made a video about it, this awkward reaction I had with my coworker out there. But it's PTSD. I know that sounds like, but I am targeted. I've been through a lot over the last 4 years, especially when I tried to relocate in 2022. A lot of things happened. And so it's like, I'm not the same me I was before I left Island in 2022. Like, I'm traumatized and like, I don't like to be in rooms alone with, I just can't explain it. It's just an uncomfortable thing for me. Certain areas, especially that spot right there. I've already said this. I don't like that area. But then to boot, I had a cough and the AC in there, I don't know, the girls that work in there, they said they think there's mold in the AC. I don't know what's going on with it. They said something's going on with the AC, but it always messes with my throat when they put me up there. The last time I was put up there, I had a cold. I think this cough is a derivative of that cold. I think it's attached to the cold. Same cold. But every time they put me up there, it messes with it. And so I start coughing, or if I'm having like sneezing, I start sneezing more. So it was going to be a long day, I could tell, and I was having the cough, and I wasn't even sure if I had COVID or not, and I was feeling like it in my chest a little bit. And so I left. I asked the supervisor, can I go to the doctor, take a COVID test? Came back to work this morning, and I had a doctor's note, but the supervisor, which I understand the directive, because obviously if I left saying I think I have COVID, you would need to see documentation proving that I don't have COVID. So I understood, right? But I came in and the supervisor was saying I need the test results. So not just the letter from the doctor saying that I was out for medical reasons, but I actually need the results showing that I'm negative. So I was going through hoops this morning trying to get the freaking results from my medical facility. Like, they're professional. I always go there because they're very professional over there. Very nice over there. I have no complaints with them. But this morning it was a headache, like trying to get these results. I didn't want to, have to go all the way over there and pick up the results. So I asked them if they could scan and email it to me. For a good almost hour, I was playing phone tag with them, trying to get these results. So anyways, in the meantime, while I'm waiting for these results, I couldn't go inside the facility and work. So I was sitting outside on my phone. Before I sat outside on my phone, I went into the computer lab and I was looking up, first of all, the number for my medical facility because I didn't have my phone at the time. And I was also trying to see if I could, forgot what else I was doing on the computer. Something with my email. I was doing something with my email. So anyways, while I was in my email, looking through my emails and stuff, they keep shadow networking and purposely trying to like push, the thing that happened with this dream. They realize it's something that's humiliating and they know I'm at work right now. Even when I'm not at work, they're pushing it, right? And so they keep pushing the thing and trying to attach it to, again, I said this already, the false narrative that was created from the text message. I've already cleared that thing. I've cleared it. Why don't you sit my niece down and have a conversation with her? She's very smart. And nobody's going to do anything to her without her saying anything about it. That's first of all. Second of all, I already proved that the text message resembled the things that I was experiencing in Florida before I came home, right before I graduated from school. So the narrative is bullshit. It was created, right, because they think I bear false witness. They feel like I don't know, tell fibs on people. It's not true. Really, it's just a misunderstanding, but whatever. Tomato, tomato. I'm not going to argue about it. That's what it's about. Like, all these false narratives swirling around about me, they just think like it's retribution. They feel like I deserve it. Whatever the case is, trying to attach this thing with this coworker to that. I keep saying, and they know this, I don't have to say it. They're seeing the activity in my brain. She's the only female that there has been any activity with in my brain. Every other thing in my brain that has anything to do with that kind of stuff has been men. There have been times when I was daydreaming about a guy and they make my ear ring. It's called tinnitus. I've shown y'all the diagram from DARPA, right? They have a diagram where they show you the capability of the technology. It's called ear tinnitus. Your ear literally starts ringing like a freaking radio receiver. It's crazy stuff. This is high science technology. Hold on, let me show y'all something. This video, y'all, that says diagram of neuromonitoring effects, and you can see the thumbnail of a female with different captions coming from her. That's a diagram that was released at a freedom of speech press conference from DARPA, the progenitors of the tech, right? So they're showing you what the technology can do. So they can make your ears ring and all kinds of stuff. And they do that to me sometimes. Like either when I'm watching something with the AI shadow networking software that has sensitization in it. Like for instance, I'm throwing what's one of the things? They've thrown many things at me. I don't want to give an example. I feel awkward. I'm at lunch. I'm at work. I shouldn't even be making this video right now. But anyways, I've talked about this in several videos, y'all. Just throwing sensitization, subliminal messaging, certain things to make my ear ring, to antagonize me. So similar to how they do that, sometimes when I'm daydreaming, I haven't done that in a while. I try not to. But recently, like, different things happen. But anyways, when I'm daydreaming, they make my ear ring. They have done it. They know full well, like I said, this has been the only female where there was any activity in my brain. And I couldn't see, they're chirping and confirming it. And I couldn't control the dream. Like, I actually still kind of feel like it was dream manipulation, to be honest. Like, they have the technology to do that. I don't really know. I don't understand it. But anyways, it is what it is, I've been honest about my feelings about the whole situation. Like, I'm not hiding anything. I don't have anything to hide. But literally, this is the only female where there has been any activity. So you can't connect that to the false narrative with the text. You just can't do that. And the thing happened, the text message was sent 4 years ago. The targeting went viral 2 years ago. I believe they started using the tech on me about 2 years ago. For 2 years, they have been in my brain. I keep using this as the key evidence. For 2 years, they have been monitoring my thoughts, monitoring my dreams. They know that they haven't seen anything with females. This has been the only isolated incident. Actually, the way that they let me know that they were viewing my thoughts and listening to my thoughts was by playing against me on the pool game with the name of the Hispanic guy that I was daydreaming about. So it's not connected. It has nothing to do. You can have an attraction to the same sex. It happens sometimes, whatever, and it not be anything more. Like, the lady is married. No disrespect to her. She has children. I want to be married. I want to have children. I like men. There's just some sort of attraction there, but it's innocent and it's harmless. And the dream, I don't know what that was. Like, I feel like they sent that, to be honest with you. I really do. I'm being honest with you. I even think the whole thing feels like programming, to be honest. But anyway, whatever, it is what it is. It's harmless. Like, this is the first, it's an isolated incident. It's not connected to the text message. It's just not. You can't connect the two. But what's happening is they're antagonizing me with the tech, throwing stuff about the dream constantly, and then connecting it to the God thing. And so this is why I had the reaction I had this morning, because constantly now, they keep trying to, again, push the thing that they were doing when I was in my car in Florida. What happens in the dark comes to light. And those types of texts like that, and, oh, God is always watching it. These type of weird stuff like that, where, yeah, I know he's always watching. That's why I'm good. That's why I'm okay. If it were anything like that, trust me, he would have destroyed me. The Most High don't play like that. He's not going to play around with you and fiddle with you like a toy. He's going to destroy you if he wants to. Anyway, so it's a mess, y'all. But anyway, so they've been throwing that programming and trying to throw the God thing and tie it to the dream to antagonize me. So I had a reaction this morning. So I was in the computer lab, looking through my emails and stuff, trying to deal with this little thing for the cough or whatever, trying to get this negative COVID test. In the emails, they did shadow networking. Do you understand that no matter where I go, if I use technology, they are hooking up to it with the AI shadow networking software? I know they saw this happen because everybody's watching me. In the upper right-hand corner of the screen, while I'm looking through my emails, I see a picture of an African-American female with the same hairstyle as this girl. They keep doing that now. Even when I'm home, like I'm watching videos and stuff, I could go in my newsfeed right now. I guarantee you, I'll see at least one hairstyle that looks like that. They keep doing that to antagonize me. So when I saw, I clicked out the screen real quick. I got basity. I got flustered. And I clicked out the screen real quick. And I tried to go into the next screen. Right? Let me go into my newsfeed right now. I guarantee you, they might play with me now. You might not see anything now. Let's see. Let's see. I mean, that's blonde, but that's not the hairstyle. I'm not even going front. That's not the hairstyle. No, look. You see to put a Bible first? They are playing games, y'all. It's programming. But anyways, let me look and see. That's not it, though. I want to see the actual hairstyle because they've been sending the actual hairstyle. Hold on. That's close. That's close enough, but that's not it. This is what they keep doing now. Sending people with cut hair that have, either the exact hair color or similar. They are playing games. I'm telling you. Hold on. I'm sure I can find the exact same haircut and hair color. Hold on. Wait a minute. There was a video I clicked on just now that they sent to me that had it. Hold on, y'all. It was this video. You see Florida's edge and fade. You know I like to watch these haircut videos. I just think it's fun. I like to watch it. I clicked on it. Look at what's at the beginning of the video. Yeah, you hear the bird chirping because they saw when this happened.
On my social media presence, everybody know me as Get Beamed or Beam. Today I'm
Look at this. In the midst of the video, you have a female, right? You can tell that's a girl with the same haircut. They're cutting it down now, of course, and the same haircut.
To share what I do on an everyday basis.
They're playing one set of games. It's programming. And they're also trying to antagonize me and make me feel anxious, this anxious way towards, and it's working too because, even despite the thing happening and me trying to kind of avoid contact or whatever, and it feeling awkward, it's not to the point like now where I'm ready to hide under a rock. It's so bad. This morning she came in to the front office. I'm working in the front office this morning. Before, the interaction of the awkward PTSD reaction that I had happen. After, not before. I'm about to tell y'all about that in a second. After that awkward thing happened, I was eventually able to get the test results and get in there to work. They put me in the front office. She came in to do something with suitcases. There's an inmate, obviously, that had some suitcases that was brought in for them. We had to check for contraband. It has to go through the machine. They're calling me out. She's going to show me how to check the bag thoroughly to make sure I don't see any contraband in there. Not just like electrical things that's going to light up, but even things such as drugs or pills or things like that won't light up. You have to look real carefully for those things. You can't let that get into the jail. They're calling me out the back room. I actually went there. I didn't just automatically hop into the closet because she was coming. Pun not intended, right? Pun not intended. I didn't hop into the closet because I knew she was coming. I hopped in the closet because there was an inmate that came out that was mopping the floor. He said, "Excuse me." I said, "No problem." I pushed my chair and I went back there in the little back. There's a little back room, kind of like a closet. I was sitting halfway in the door. Then she came out, to get the stuff, and I'm hearing her voice and stuff, and I heard she was coming down, so I had a pre-warning that she was coming. I started to try and dip into the closet because the whole thing is just so awkward and embarrassing for me. They're calling me now. She goes to the machine to, I guess, show me how to thoroughly look through a larger package or suitcase that's coming into the facility. I'm just ducking down. I'm like, okay, they could deal with it. They don't need me to come. The floor's wet. They could deal with it. This is kind of self-explanatory anyway. I got this. They put me in a front office the other day and I was running it pretty smooth. I'm used to doing these type of things, like front office stuff. So it's not that hard for me. But I understand them trying to show me the suitcase thing because that's a particular thing. You let something get up in the prison and you can lose your job. So I understand them going through that with me. But I'm trying to duck in the closet and not come out because it's just so humiliating, the whole thing to me. And I know everybody's watching on the cameras too. So it's not even just this isolated, interaction between the people in the room, but everybody's watching too. So it feels like Poppy show. Anyway, eventually I came out, and again, pun not intended. And she showed me what to do. And then she went about her business, right? I had such a basity, I'm flustered and all this kind of stuff because it's just they keep sending stuff and antagonizing me about it. So now I'm feeling so freaking flustered about the whole thing. Anyway, y'all, let me talk about this PTSD reaction I had, though, that I feel like they kind of run away. Even the ref campaign, revving outside and stuff, trying to create stuff. Before I got in the office and had that little moment there, I was sitting outside waiting for the medical facility to email me my results, my test results. Sorry, my nose is stuffy, y'all. While I'm waiting, I start looking at videos on my phone. I had already had that little moment in the computer lab where they sent her picture. Well, not her picture, an emulation of her, whatever, prototype or whatever. And I clicked out the screen because I'm like, this is embarrassing. I know what they're trying to do. So now I actually went outside the facility and I'm waiting to get the email. Scrolling through, watching stuff. They purposely sent me a video. Yeah, I didn't even realize somebody was so close by. This is embarrassing. I know it's somebody that has the last name of the guy, right? That the cyberstalking, cyberbullying thing came from. It's just all connected, man. This is embarrassing. Anyway, they sent me it was a video of this lady that won the lottery. They know full well I'd be saying I want to win the lottery, and because I'm struggling, I'm a target. And I have 2 jobs now, thank the Most High, so I'm doing a lot better. But it's still a struggle. Even now, trying to get a car and stuff, I'm having to go through extra hoops to do things that regular people can do easily, right? So I was talking about, before I got this job, I was talking about how I need to win the lottery and this and that, and they kind of started throwing that at me and teasing me about that. So they sent a video in the newsfeed this morning, right, while I'm sitting outside waiting to get this email with my test results. I click on the video. They said, woman wins $250,000, whatever. The woman's getting excited. She's hugging up the store owner when she realizes that her scratch off had $250 on it, $250,000. She hugged this, patron that came into the store. She's just getting excited. Then she fell on her knees and she put her hands up like she's praising the Most High. Do you know, as soon as she fell on her knees, that girl's name, the coworker for the dream, her name popped in my head. It's not connected. It's programming. I had just been in the lab in my email where they sent the prototype, the picture that looks like her. It didn't really look like her. The girl didn't look like her. But I'm saying, like an African-American female with that haircut. They had just sent them. I had clicked out of it quick. I'm already feeling anxious about it. They keep trying to tie it to the text message and sending certain subs at me, programming me, trying to connect it like darkness to light, this and that. So there's this angst when I see certain things. It's called programming and it's called PTSD. So I saw the thing and her name popped in my head. And I started having an anxious reaction. Of course, the ref campaign running with it. They're speeding by, they're doing all this kind of extra stuff. Then, a few moments later, the pastor from the chapel comes out, right? He comes out outside the facility, right where I'm sitting down. He stands behind me, he starts having a conversation with this guy that had come out that was standing there too. Apparently, he's a guy that used to be in the facility. I didn't know that until after the fact. They start having this whole conversation, right? The pastor, and I thought I was good with the pastor. I see him all the time. He lives in the neighborhood where I go to play basketball. The land that my parents own, that I grew up on for a number of years where I was living off grid and stuff, is in the neighborhood where he lives. You know how many times I've rode my bike from the neighborhood I live in to the basketball court and he's driving out in his truck and he hailed me up? Several times. I thought him and I were cool. We're not buddy, but we're cool. There's like some camaraderie ship there. I'm like, what? When he's throwing the directed convo, I'm like, what? So I'm sitting there after I had this anxious PTSD reaction. Mind you, I know everyone's watching me. The birds keep chirping every 5 seconds. So you're putting all the spotlight on this one person, sending sensitization, and then gaslighting when they have a reaction about it. I keep saying this. They keep doing this to me. So anyway, pastor comes out behind me, starts talking to the guy that was standing there. And he starts saying, God sees everything. People feel like you could do things and yet God ain't gonna see. God will see everything. And he started telling this story about, I couldn't hear everything he was saying because I had my earphones in. But it sounds like he started saying something. I didn't have my earphones in, but I had my phone playing. But it sounds like he started talking about somebody that I think committed murder. I'm not judging a person, no disrespect, whatever. That's their life story. But committed murder, and I guess felt like they weren't gonna get caught, and they got caught. So he started telling that kind of story and stuff. I'm like, what? So I'm just chuckling. To me, it didn't even make my brain tick because I know I already cleared this stupidness. So I'm just laughing at it. I know he's doing it because of the reaction I just had. So to me, it's funny. I'm like, I've been going through this for the last 2 years. I've already knocked this stupidness down. So I'm just sitting there laughing at it, right? I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, really? So then he starts saying something about, before he mentioned this, the thing that did make me have a reaction, by the way, I was reading stuff, scrolling through my news feed, and I saw something that said, treat others how you want to be treated or something like that. I guess he heard my thought. So then he changed up the line of convo and started saying, people feel like they can do things by themselves. And they're really, basically the gist of it, I'm not saying verbatim what he said, The gist of it was that, like, they're stupid or foolish to think so, to think that they can do things by themselves. And he said, you wouldn't believe how many people have degrees and a bunch of degrees in education, and they're stupid, basically, is what he was trying to say. Like, they're stupid and they don't understand how life works, is basically what he was saying. He wasn't saying it like that. He's a pastor. So, of course, he wasn't saying it as derogatively, right? But that's basically the gist of what he was saying. And so for me, I'm just like, what? You know, like, I can't help what's happening. You know, I'm targeted. I've already apologized. I'm just trying to live a normal life. I'm also autistic, so I've never been good at socializing. So I'm at a major disadvantage. It's not this thing where I'm trying to isolate off and, like, you know, move this kind of way with people. It's just my life right now. This is the situation I'm dealing with, and I'm trying to navigate the best way that I can. So then, anyway, he mentioned his wife. Lastly, he said something about wife. Something brought the conversation about wife in it. That's where I had the reaction, believe it or not. The other stuff I was laughing at, the wife thing, is what got me. Because that's, believe it or not, I've gotten the most backlash for the thing with that dude and the text messaging. I got more backlash for that, to be honest, than the other thing. Like, since I've come back to Island, at least, I got so much flack for that thing. I'm so traumatized. Like, anytime I hear wife, I'm ready to run for the hills. I don't care who you are. Anytime I hear wife, I'm ready to run. So that made my brain start ticking. I did have, like, a reaction to that part of the conversation. I'm not gonna lie. But anyways, y'all, so then I ended up going into the office, like I said, and I got my results. They assigned me to work the front office today. And that was where I had the awkward interaction with the girl. Of all times, like, this is the time she comes out to deal with the suitcases and stuff, and I'm, like, already just had all this embarrassing stuff happen this morning. So it's just, like, you know, it's rough. And I go into the cafeteria to get food. You know, everybody is privy to what's going on all the time. So the guys always know what's happening with me. And when something awkward happens with me, they already know about it in the cafeteria. I'm cool with them in there, right? So it's no beef. But they be playing off that shit sometimes, man. I come into the dude saying, Jesus Christ. He said, thank God. He said, God is great. He said, God is great. And you know they used the word great on me. That's tied back to the dude. The same cyberstalking, cyberbullying dude. So anyway, it's just, you know, it's like a big joke. But at the same time, low-key, it's like, it's humiliating. And it's also, too, like, something that I have PTSD about, all of it. So to me, it's not a joke. Like, I can laugh it off and stuff, but for me, it's like, I don't, you know, it's rough. Like, I'm traumatized by all of this stuff. I just want my life to go back to normal. But I want to talk about it because I felt it started kind of running with the thing that happened this morning with this girl, when they're programming the thing into me at this point. Like, I've been trying to avoid contact because it's so humiliating. And I feel like they're, like, just programming and pushing the thing, man. It's embarrassing. I don't want to even talk about it here at work. I was going to wait till I go home, but it's like I'm noticing certain things, and they're revving in the road and trying to create stuff. I'm just like, I want to talk about it, man. Anyway, that's it, y'all. I just wanted to talk about it. I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace out.